Jai, Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who just like desire priests to fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. Jai. Vanchakalpa Durvishya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunna Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunna Bihari Gopi Janabalaba Hirivadadhagute Gopi Janabalaba Hirivadadhagute Yasodananda Vrajachanaranja Yasodananda Vrajachanaranja Jamuna Tira Vanachare Yamuna Tira Banachare Jayarando Madhava Kunna Bihagate Jaya Radha Madhava Kunna Bihagate Gopi Jana Balagapa Girivadadhagate Gopi Gadabalaba Girivadadhagate Yasodananda Vrajajana Ranjana Yasodananda Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Manachari Yamuna Tera Manachari Jaya Radha Madhova Kunya Bihati Damadhava Jabiyati Jayurad Madhava Kunya Bihati Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paramitakarya also Chetta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sayamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturadam Ki Jai Jagadha Swami Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Shivadi Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Budale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Desha Tarni So, Omagada Timiranda Shah, Yananjana Shilakaya Chakshur Meditam, Yena Tasmai Shigadavena Maha. So, before going on to Bhagavatam, I want to mention today is Bahulastami, and we're going to speak about Bahulastami first, and then we'll go on to the first two verses in the chapter that we're going to start. So, generally, the devotees in ISKCON think that Bahulastami is the day of the appearance of Radhakund, isn't it? And even in the calendar, you'll see this. In many Gaudiya Vaishnava groups, they think that too. So, let's talk about, or let's discuss to see if Radhakund actually appeared on this particular day. And we're going to give quotes from Shastra. So, first thing we should know is that Radhakund appeared on the same day as Arishtashura was killed. Arishtashura was the bull demon, and Krishna had to repent and purify himself because he killed the bull, even though he was a demon, by making Shamakund, and then the gopis made Radhakund. So same day, everything happened. So, let's quote from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. First of all, in his commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, in 10th canto, 36th chapter, text 16. In his, actually Jiva Goswami's commentary, Jiva Goswami specifies that Arishta was killed on the full moon night of the month of Chaitra. Chaitra is March, April, which is different than right now. And on the same spring night, Shri Krishna manifested Shamakund and Radharani manifested Radhakund. And specific quotes are there from the Gopal Champu. I'm going to skip over the Sanskrit. So, one evening when the sun rays were reddish, the enemy of the demigods by the name of Arishta, madly rushing about and frightening the cows, came to the entrance to the beautiful Braj. At that time, Balaram's younger brother, Shri Krishna, noticing that the full moon day conjoined with the Chitra Nakshatra, as Chaitra Purnima, came and, being anxious to behold Govardhan Hill, who increases his happiness, went at some distance from Braj. And also on the basis of the Varaha Purana and Vishnu Purana, Jiva Goswami describes in greater detail how Arishashura was killed, Shamakund and Radhakund were manifested, and Krishna performed his spring rasa dance with the gopis. So another citation there. Also in the Lagu Vaishnava Toshani, that is a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Jiva Goswami, he writes directly, Arishashura was killed on the full moon day of the month of Chaitra, March, April, during Krishna's 11th year. So comes 1 month after Gaur Purnima. That's how you could figure it out. 1 month, the full moon after Gaur Purnima. Gaur Purnima is the day, of course, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So then the question is, why do we hear this so often that one should take a bath in Radhakund? Because there are some quotes from the Shastras, particularly the Mathura Mahatmya, who says that one who bathes on Balasmi during the month of Kartik will become very dear to Lord Hari, because such bath gives great happiness to the Lord. So there are injunctions to bathe. However, there's no injunctions to bathe at midnight. Why do people pick midnight? Because generally, that's the time for fun. Midnight. But it's not actually a better time to bathe. So, and there's one reason why people may think, another reason why people may think it's the appearance day of Radhakund. There's an English translation of the Hari Bhakti Vilas that mentions that, but it's not there in the Sanskrit. So in other words, they added it, so which happens sometimes. And so, anyway, another point is that some people say it was the day that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered Radhakund. But there's no evidence to that. In fact, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Vrindavan and went to Radhakund or discovered Radhakund, it wasn't the actual day of Bahulastami. Anyway, so why is Bahulastami? Why is Radhakund situated in a in Bahula Bhan? That means the forest of Bahula. There's the story about Bahula. And the story is as follows. Once there was a cow, Bahula, who is grazing peacefully, and a tiger attacked her. Bahula requested the tiger to allow her to return to her calf, feed it, and then say goodbye, and then come back, and then Bahula would be willing to be Tiger Prasad. So the tiger agreed. Tiger waited for her to return, and the tiger and the cow went to the Brahmin who was her master and to her calf and told them what had happened. When they heard her story, they volunteered to go in her place. So Bahula decided, no, we're not going to accept. But all three of them returned to offer themselves to the tiger. That's how brahminical they were. And the tiger was thinking, who am I going to eat first? But then Lord Krishna appeared. He was holding a chakra in one hand, and Krishna assured the tiger of everlasting fame if he would show compassion to the Brahman, the cow, and the calf. And the tiger released Bahula from her promise, and the calf and Brahman rejoiced in their mother being spared. So, therefore, Krishna named Bahulavan after Bahula. Got it? And next birth, Bahula became one of Krishna's wives. So Bahulabad is considered by some Vaishnavas as the most sacred forest of all because it includes the most sacred place, Shri Shri Radhakund. So that's the story of Bahulabad, and how Bahulastami is not actually the appearance day of Radhakund, nor is it the time when Radhakund was discovered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But it's an auspicious time or auspicious day to bathe. Okay, now we'll go on to the Bhagavatam. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 56th chapter, texts 1 and 2, which are sort of introductory texts. That's why I'm reading both texts. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Shukha Uvacha Satrajata Swatanayam Krishnaya Krita Kilbisha Ashimantakena Manana Swayam Udyamya Datavan Shri Shukuvacha Shatrajita Swatanayam Krishnaya Krita Kilbisha Shabantakena Madina Swayam Ujamya Dattavan Shri Shukuvacha Satrajita Swatanayam Krishnaya Krita Kilbisha Shamantakena Manida Swayam Ujamya Dattavan Shri Shukovacha Satrajita Swatanayam Krishnaya Krita Kilbisha Shamantakena Manana Swayam Yadatavan. Okay. Ladies. Sadvi? Tayam. Okay. Shri Shukruvacha, as Shukadeva Goswami said, Satrajata, King Satrajit, Swa, his own, Tanayam, daughter, Krishnaya, to Lord Krishna, Krita, having committed, Kilbisha, offense, Shaimantakena, known as Shaimantaka, Manena, together with the jewel, Swayam, personally, Udyamya, striving, Datavan, he gave. Translation, Shukadeva Goswami said, having offended Lord Krishna, Satrajit tried his best to atone by presenting him with his daughter and the Shaimantaka jewel. You can repeat. Shukadeva Goswami said, having offended Lord Krishna, Satrajit tried as best, he could to atone by presenting him with his daughter and the Shaimantaka jewel. So there's no commentary by the followers of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, so I'm going to read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, Jiva Goswami's commentary, and Sanatana Goswami's commentary, and go on to the next verse. This is just introductory. In this chapter, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states, in this chapter, Krishna, getting a bad reputation, goes to find the Shaimantaka jewel, receives the jewel, and the daughter of Jambavan, and on returning to Dwarka, marries the daughter of Satrajit as well. Satrajit is sometimes spelled with an A on the end, Satrajita. Jiva Goswami comments that Sridhar Swami mentions that after the resolution of problems concerning a son, another problem is now described. The son mentioned is Prajuna, described in relation to his mother in answer to the question of how Krishna married the queens. Shukadeva first describes the marriage of dear Satyabhama to Krishna. The word swa indicates that this was his own daughter given of his free will. He personally, Swayam, undertook to give his daughter to Krishna, who attracts everyone's heart. This indicates that she had purva rag, that means before meeting Krishna, for Krishna. Because of its lesser prema and being an incidental story occurring before the main marriage, the marriage of Jambavati is narrated first. So finally, Sanatana Goswami, the last chapter ended with a mention of mothers, Mataraha. How were they married to Krishna? The marriage of Satyabhama, most dear, is described first. Satyajit alone offered his daughter by his own decision, or she was his only child, Swatanayam. Krishna was he who attracts everyone's heart. Thus she desired to marry him also, though it is proper to describe the marriage of Jambavati, who was older, and though that marriage was a cause of this marriage, that marriage was accomplished along with the events of this marriage. This will be clear later, or Krishna had special prema for Satyabhama. I'm going to mention that in a second. I just wanted to read verse 2, because they're both introductory. Shri Rajavacha Shatrajita Kim Garud Brahman Krishna Shakil Basha Shaimantaka Kutastasya Kasma Datta Sutahare. Translation. Maharaj Parikshit inquired, O Brahmana, what did King Satyajit do to offend Lord Krishna? Where did he get the Shaimantaka jewel, and why did he give his daughter to the Supreme Lord? And short commentaries by the Acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, why he gave his daughter to the Lord, Hare for Hare Ye. Jiva Goswami says, where did the Shaimantaka jewel come from? Kuta.
Using the possessive case hare instead of the dative case hare indicates that he was not too willing to give his daughter to Krishna. Interesting. And Sanatana Goswami, how did he offend Krishna, the Supreme Lord? Why did he give his daughter to Krishna? Because Krishna removes faults, hare, no offense remains, O Brahman, you know everything. So Om Agana Timidandasha Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Unmiditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So rather than telling the story of the Shaimantaka jewel that's mentioned in this canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm not going to do that because that's going to be told in the later verses. But I'm going to sort of tell some of the stories that precede this particular story. One of the stories is that Lord Sri Krishna lost his reputation during this particular episode. And there's a reason behind this. This is mentioned in some of the Puranas. It's just a very interesting story that there's this superstition that on the Ganesh Chaturdasi, you know about this? You know this, Omkar? No. That if you see the moon, or you see your reflection or something like that, you lose your reputation. You didn't know that? That's mentioned in some of the Puranas. So the reason that Krishna got criticized, and everyone was thinking, Krishna has killed Prasena. I better not get into all the details. Prasena was the brother of Satyajit, who had temporarily had custody of the Shaimantaka jewel. And Krishna was accused of killing him to take the jewel. So there's some illustration there that Krishna saw the moon in a reflection on Ganesh Chaturdasi. Anyway, this is in some of the Puranas. I'm just quoting from some of the Puranas. So more background to this whole story is mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Lalita Madhava. And there's a hint in one of the commentaries here, or the second commentary. Krishna had special prema, the first commentary. Krishna had special prema for Satyabhama, is mentioned by Sanatana Goswami in the first commentary here. That's because, as mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Lalita Madhava, that Satyabhama is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. And that's why she's mentioned first. And then you have Jambavati, who's considered to be an expansion of Lalita Devi, who is mentioned second after Satyabhama, which is quite interesting because Jambavati was given to Krishna before Satyabhama was given to Krishna. Jambavati was given to Krishna when Krishna, well, I guess I'm telling part of the story, but you can't get away from that. When Krishna entered Jambavan's cave, fought with Jambavan for 28 days, then Jambavan realized it was Krishna. It was his Lord Ram, his worshipable deity, and Jambavan gave him his daughter, Jambavati. So that happened first before Krishna went back and presented the Shaimantaka jewel to Satyajit, who later on gave it to Krishna, according to the first verse here. So, So therefore, the reason that story is first, that is the story in this particular chapter, the chapter is entitled The Marriage of Satyabhama with Krishna, is because Satyabhama is, in one sense, the expansion of Srimati Radharani, and she is called Satyabham, or Satyabhama, because that means the left-handed or left gopis, or left wives. What does that mean? That means doesn't mean they're left behind. That means they're in a more I wouldn't exactly say unsubmissive mood, but an argumentative mood with Krishna. They're not like Rukmini is generally considered, according to Lita Manava, an expansion of Chandravali, and Satyabhama is considered an expansion of Srimati Radharani. So Chandravali is right. That means she's very submissive, like we understand if you read the later chapters of the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto. You read about how Krishna attempted to make Rukmini angry, and he wasn't able to make Rukmini angry. She fainted. Whereas when Krishna attempts, he doesn't even have to attempt to make Satyabhama angry. When Rukmini was given a parijata flower, Satyabhama became angry and demanded a whole tree. So you could see the different moods. In the same way, Chandravali, in Krishna's pastimes, is submissive, and Radharani, her man, or anger, is very prominent. So let's do a little summary of the Lita Madhava so we can understand the background, according to Srila Rupa Goswami. So, all right, okay. Let's see if we can go really quickly. This is not the whole Lita Madhava, just the portion that's applicable. So there's the Shankachuta. This also talks about the origin of the Shaimantaka jewel. Because in this chapter of the Bhagavatam, the origin goes only back to the sun god who gave it to Satyajit. But in the Lita Madhava, we trace the origin of the Shaimantaka jewel back further. Okay? So here is the point. There's this demon in Krishna's pastime called Shankachuta. And he had a jewel on his forehead, shape of a conch shell. Shankachuta. And he tried to kidnap the gopis when Krishna was dancing with the gopis. Of course, he couldn't touch the gopis. It appeared sometimes that he was touching the gopis, but he wasn't touching the gopis, just like it appeared that Ravana was touching Sita Devi, but Ravana never touched Sita Devi. So anyway, so Krishna killed him. To make a long story short, he gave the jewel to Balaram. Balaram gave this jewel that came from Shankachuta to Srimati Radharani. Okay, fast forward. Akrura comes, most uncruel. He comes and takes Krishna away to Mathura. Then the residents of Vrindavan, some of them decide to leave this world. In this particular story, Radha and Vishaka decide to drown themselves in the Yamuna. Now remember, Yamuna and Yamaraj, they are both children of the sun god. Okay. And Lita, of course, jumps from Govardhan Hill to end her existence. And so what happens at this particular point is the sun god brings Radharani up to the sun, along with the jewel. So that's the Shaimantaka jewel right there. And so, okay. Then what happens is that is also mentioned in the Puranas. Maybe I think it's also mentioned later on in this chapter in the commentaries of the Acharyas that we have Satyajit. He goes up and to the sun god. Not only does he worship the sun god, but he goes to Swarga to be with the sun god. And he forms sort of a friendly relationship with the sun god. And he sees this great effulgence, and he's thinking it's coming from the jewel, but the greater effulgence is actually coming from the sun god. So he's very attached to the jewel. So the sun god basically gives him the jewel, because I guess he worshipped with some ulterior motive, and also arranges for him to have as a daughter. He gives him the daughter of Satyabhama. So he gets both of these personalities. I mean, it's quite an interesting play, the Lita Madhava. I mean, I could speak about it for quite a while. Anyway, so then what happens is that, at least in the Lita Madhava, when Krishna gets Satyabhama, when Satyajit gives him Satyabhama, Satyabhama in the Lita Madhava is not interested in Krishna in the beginning, because she's interested only in the Krishna in Vrindavan, only, and not the Krishna. She doesn't understand is the same person. It's a very interesting story. She thinks this particular individual, he's the king of Mathura. I'm interested in I'm a king of Dwarka. I'm interested in the king of Mathura. So Satyabhama, and she can't get married to Krishna right away anyway, because Krishna promised Bhishmaka, Rukmini's father, that he wouldn't marry anyone else without her permission. So they have to take Satyabhama and put her into this place called Nava Vrindavan, which is roughly translated as New Vrindavan. Not the New Vrindavan that you know. It's a replica of Vrindavan. And so, anyway, so fast forward. I don't want to tell the whole story here. So Satyabhama in this Nava Vrindavan is fairly morose, because she's the expansion of Radharani, and she's feeling she wants to be with Krishna. And there is this expansion of Vrinda Devi called Nava Vrinda, who shows Satyabhama this deity of Krishna that's made of sapphire. It's made by Vishwakarma, and Satyabhama thinks it's actually Krishna, and Nava Vrinda tells her it's actually a deity. So Satyabhama decides to decorate the deity. She decorates this deity very, very, very nicely. And then she hears someone coming, and that person who's coming is Krishna, and Krishna looks at the deity and thinks, oh my God, who has decorated this deity so nicely? I'm going to find out. So he puts the deity in the bushes, and he takes the deity's clothes, and he dresses in the same deity's clothes. And Satyabhama comes out thinking that whoever came was gone. And Satyabhama approaches the deity and just keeps decorating, but the deity, soft light. And Krishna's thinking, this is the deity of Radharani, and she's thinking it's the deity of Krishna. And eventually, to make a long story short, they discover they're real, not deities. I mean, deities are real too. And they have many more pastimes like that in this Nava Vrindavan forest. And Krishna, in order to visit with Satyabhama, and Rukmini is getting some suspicion that something's happening, Krishna has to lie to Rukmini and say he's just going to see some ascetic somewhere. And so much to tell here. So Rukmini has her friend switch clothes with Satyabhama, so that Rukmini is wearing Satyabhama's clothes, and Satyabhama is wearing Rukmini's clothes. And then Krishna one time addresses Rukmini as Satyabhama in a loving way, and Rukmini is really upset. And they have different pastimes. This is not all in chronological order, I'm telling you right now. Like they have pastimes looking at pictures that are painted in the cave of their pastimes that were there in Vrindavan. And when they look at the picture of Krishna stealing the clothes of the gopis, Satyabhama becomes embarrassed, and then they both hate the picture of Krishna, of Krura taking Krishna away from Vrindavan. So finally, Rukmini, decides to take Satyabhama away and guard her. And Krishna decides to trick and be able to see Satyabhama by dressing as a woman. So he acts as the friend of Satyabhama, but that trick has been revealed by a parrot that overheard him talking about the trick. Is everybody following me so far? I'm trying to make it very simple because there's a lot more here than this. So the parrot reveals the trick to Rukmini, and Rukmini comes and she says, I'm going to send Satyabhama so far away she'll never come back. So the parrot reveals that plan to Satyabhama. So Satyabhama, who is expansion of Radharani, runs away to drown herself into this replica Kaliya lake. So what happens at this point, everybody gets very worried. All the residents of Vrindavan enter. It's an amazing pastime. And they reveal that Jambavati is Lalita Devi. So Satyabhama, in the meantime, has jumped into this replica Kaliya lake. Krishna jumps in to save her, and she thinks that Krishna's arms that are wrapping around her are like two serpents that are actually biting her. So, and then Krishna saves her. And then finally, when the Shaimantaka jewel is put again, and Radharani is holding it, or Satyabhama is holding it, then she is recognized, that was the prediction, by Rukmini as Radharani, or as her sister. And so Rukmini becomes pleased at that particular point and agrees that Satyabhama can marry Krishna. And they live happily ever after. So it's interesting. It's a very interesting story. The main thing to understand from this particular story is that Satyabhama is an expansion of Radharani. And that explains her mood. So all the Shaktis of the Lord are expansions. Radharani is the original Shakti or potency of the Lord. She's called, a name of Radharani is Adi Shakti. So then she expands as Lalita and Vishaka, the Astasakis, and then the gopis that are in the Shakti category. And then she expands as the wives of Krishna, Satyabhama and Chandravali, who was Rukmini, who was an expansion of Radharani, an expansion of expansion. So, the wives of Krishna, and then she expands as the Lakshmis in the spiritual realm. And then there's an expansion even of Durga within this material world. So, anyway, this is a little ontology, understanding Satyabhama's position that we gave to precede the whole discussion of the Shaimantaka pastime that is told here, and also the pastime of Krishna marrying Jambavati, who was Lalita Devi, an expansion of Lalita Devi. So, I guess that's all we have time for. Yes? Yeah. Krishna was interested in having a good reputation so he could do his service, not because he was simply as a false ego. Just like Lord Ramchandra sent Sita Devi away because his service was being the emperor, king, and he needed to be trusted. So, Anyway, interesting story.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindanalayatacham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam
Better contrast.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Namam Swaram Satchit Anandurupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Rajamanam Namam Ishwaram Satchit Anandurupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Rajamanam Yasodabeo Lukaladavamanam Param Vishnam Hachanta Todruchikopya Runantamo Urnetra Yumam Prishantam Katam Bukja Jumena Satankanetram Mosacha Kampatre Ray Kankakanta Sita Craven Damo Daram Bhakti Badam P.J. Trixwa Lila Bir Ananda Kunde Swakosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Rananda Kunde Swakosham Nimajantam Jade Aichita Yesu Mata Jita Dragon Ulak Prima Tastam Shata Vritivande Varam Deva Moksham na Mokshavatim Vanga Nachanyam Vrindayam Varishad Apiha Hilam Deva Purnata Gopala Bala Satame Manyasyavi Rastam Kimanjoy Hilam Temu Kambojam Ajantanilai Pritam Kuntalai Snigda Raptais Chagopya Mochomi Tambimba Raktadaname Manasyavi Rastam Alam Lakshalabai Namo Deva Dhammo Da Ananta Vishnu Prasila Prabhu Dukal Jalabdi Magnam Gripa Dristi Vristati Dinambatanu Grahanesha Mamagyame Yakshidisha Duveratma Jomata Mochayvatyan Magagat Twayam Muchitau Mati Bajau Kritoja Tata Prema Bhaktim Swa Kame Prayaja Namokshe Grahome Ste Damodareya Namaste Tamne Spura Tipsidam Nangike Twatio Twarayatha Vishvashadamne. Namo Radhe Kaya Jatiya Priyaya Namo Nantali Lakha Devaya Tupyam. Namam Vishwaram Satchid Anandutupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Yasoda Beyo Luka Ladavamana Param Rishdamajantato Druchagopya. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe. Jaya Radha Golokanana Radha Golokanana Radhe. Jaya Radha Golokanana Radha Golokanana Radhe. Jaya Radha Hey Jaya Radha Hey Jaya Radha Jaya Radha. Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe Radhe. Jaya Sri Radhe. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatakacharya, also Tata Sajashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Savaya Chalananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturadam Ki Jai Jagadadha Swami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Shrimati Las Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Budale. Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani States. That's what they states. Anybody Pashtata Dejani. To the Supreme Controller who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and as Mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes, he shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, who is bound by his devotees' love, I offer my humble obeisances. Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drown the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayana and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed, pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy upon me, uplift me and protect me with your nectarian vision. O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nalakuvara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which is bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes. Damodarashtaka ki jai. So before reading the Shikshashtaka, I just want to mention we got a note yesterday from the Child Protection Organization, and it specifically said that when the children offer the lamp, the parents should light the lamp for the children, and the parents should always be with the children when they're offering the lamp to the deities, because there's been some, anyway, this is from the Child Protection Organization. So, yeah, there always has to be an adult there where the child, let's say under 12, is offering the lamp. And the lamp should be lit by an adult, too. So that's really important for the safety and the Gurukul, too. I assume the Gurukul is offering lamps with, I mean here, that's what I mean, yeah. So there always has to be an adult there. Okay. Cheto Darpanama Arjanam Advagni Neva Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vikaranam Vidyavadajivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Pranamritasvadanam